Everybody get up,
Yeah.
it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. It's your chance to your dance, the Space Jam. Alright. Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, and welcome. Hey everybody, welcome to
New York.
Our album review here for the FMFM channel. I am William Shea Freeman, and this is my resident pop music aficionado, Stephen Carroll King.
Boy.
As our first inaugural video, sadly doing a pop album. However, it's a great, terrible pop album. Taylor Swift 1989 Deluxe Edition. We got to make sure we got all of those tracks in there for 1989 because we wanted to make sure we knew all the bad songs that we're going to be playing on here.
Even some personal insight from Taylor in those last few tracks where she talks to you.
Exactly. There are 16 real tracks on the deluxe album, as well as 3 extra bonus tracks that are basically Taylor Swift explaining to her fans on how she writes music, which is kind of an interesting extra thing for people who buy stuff at Target and or get it on iTunes or download it from the internet like we did. Steven, what did you like about this album?
This album is what I would call completely listenable. I love pop music, and I'm always waiting for someone to surprise me. That didn't happen here, but I mean, I listened to it while I was working last night. I work overnight, and so I mean, it was able to keep me awake.
Check mark for it doesn't put you to sleep.
Some toe tapping, some shoulder. What's this?
Shrug, undershrug, reverse shrug?
Reverse shrug.
I think what I liked about it is that it's listenable. Like it's one of those things where I felt like I was listening to it and it was like, okay, this is okay. I can understand why people like it.
It's a lot of it is totally radio ready.
Yeah, it's very radio ready, and we'll get to that later. All right, so we want to go through track by track. You can listen to it on your own while we go through, and we'll label each track here, and then we'll talk about it really quickly. While we listen to it, you're gonna enjoy this very nice musical interlude by us. Track 1 is called "Welcome to New York." You probably already heard it on the radio, which I was very surprised by that. It's also something we're gonna talk about singles. Welcome to New York is the first track, and I think it is probably the weakest song on the entire album.
When this song began, I began having Katy Perry, some flashbacks, a little bit of Lord in there with that boom.
Yeah.
Underlying, there's a lot of some of that going on. I think people are going to be latching onto that now and going in for a little bit of the minimalist Lord route. Not having to overwhelm you with the cacophony of sound to make music, which maybe is a good thing because a lot of stuff is overproduced. It's just too much going on.
I didn't like this song at all, and I feel like this is going to probably be on top of some sort of preview that has something to do with New York, and they really don't get it. Well, and as I said, we were talking about this before getting on camera here. It's really exclusionary. This just feels like a person telling stories about things that no one will ever get unless you've been there or live there, and I felt like this is completely opposite of what a New York song should be about. Like, people are just gonna start listening to it like, oh yeah, welcome to New York, here like in Oklahoma or in Boston or I don't know, somewhere like in Ireland or someplace. Like, I get it, I get it. Let's go to track number 2, which is Blank Space.
There go these drums.
It's like, oh yeah, Girlfriend by Justin Bieber, part 2. And then she starts singing, and then I'm like, oh yeah, Natasha Bedingfield, part every song that has ever been sung. Boom, boom, boom. If I was your girlfriend, I'd never let you go. Remember, like, creepy internet girlfriend or whatever?
Oh yeah.
That's what it sounds like. This is the only thing that I feel like is the only semblance of actual form in the music of the album. There's like 3 things. Look at this objectifying thing about him. Look at this suave hair or something. And number 2 is everyone thinks I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy.
She's comment. She's commenting on. I guess I'm very aware. Shake it off. Just shake it off.
All right, and number 3 is like everyone says that I'm this way, but I'm not, kind of thing. She's how old? 1989. She's like 3 years younger than us. Like
I'm surprised.
She should get the idea by now that love is not a game that you should probably not want to play. Like, the whole adult concept of like maybe this is something you should take seriously. Maybe people won't think you're crazy.
When it comes to pop music, I think maybe that's the you're playing to kids at the time. It's not so much for the older generation as you are singing to young people. Taylor Swift is still singing about the same things. I mean, it's a little less innocent than her first album where she was just look at that baby face girl with the big curly hair.
Now she's the big baby face girl with less hair
in New York.
In New York. The next track is Style. So this is one of 2 songs I really like on the album, and it's really good, and it keeps hitting until we get to the chorus, and then it turned back into a pop song again. Like they just turned the switch off and let her sing, and I was like, oh no, like this could have been so much better, and then it kind of went for that kind of like pop repetition kind of thing, and I'm like, ugh. There's a line in this chorus that goes, "You've got that long-haired, slick-back white T-shirt." So it's like, all right, you're on the road here for a good description, and all of a sudden you say white T-shirt. I'm like,
did you say white T-shirt?
Yeah, she says you got that long-haired, slick-back white T-shirt. What? Like that doesn't make any like.
I love that slick-back white T-shirt.
Yeah, that's like a long-haired, slick-back. Like, is the hair long? How does a shirt become slick?
Everyone's gonna be wearing those slick back white T-shirts in a couple of months.
Yeah, man, apparently that's gonna be the hot shit on TV.
They're out in New York right now.
Yeah, that's in New York. Welcome to New York, where we all wear long-haired, slick back shirts.
I'm not going to be stimulated by anything that comes out of Taylor Swift's mouth, at all. Kind of like Kanye West, but I can get down to some like the music that's going on. It's laid back enough for that slow motion pillow fight you're never gonna be gonna see, is what this song is there for. Like when the girls are just in the room for no reason in their underwear just jumping around. Yeah, it's for that scene in real life. Yeah. So whatever.
All right, so this is track 4, which is Out of the Woods. Yeah, so this song is pretty much the big repetition song.
I mean, everybody has one where they repeat the "Are we out of the woods? Are we out of the woods? Are we in the clear? Are we in the clear? Are we in..."
An anthem-y kind of song here.
You want to have some wah-ohs in there?
Wah! Wah!
Oh, my voice is gone.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about it beyond that. But the repetition part, it bothers me because, I mean, it happens a lot in this album as well. Alright, the next one is All You Had to Do Was Stay. Stay. All you had to do was stay. Okay. All right.
You guys obviously liked that song.
I'm not gonna lie, I was getting down to this song the most last night.
That's probably the most, like, all you had to do was stay. Yeah, it's very inoffensive. The lyrics in this song particularly bother me probably the most out of anything. Not just because they don't make sense like the last one or 2 ago, but it's because of the fact it's like, oh yeah, you were in this really bad relationship, and she's basically like, oh yeah, you could have stayed in this relationship if you just decided to not go.
Yeah.
Like nothing ever happened, nothing bad ever happened, you never had any fights. She's like, I can't remember what we were fighting about. Like, dude, come on, man. Like if you really don't remember your arguments or your issues, like either you haven't moved on or 2, this wasn't really a big problem to begin with.
She needs to watch 500 Days of Summer.
Yes, exactly.
I have this thing where I listen to the words.
Yeah.
And I was like, even for Taylor Swift, this is unhealthy for any little girl who listens to it. All you had to do was stay.
Yeah, like you didn't have to go. Like that was not a better decision to get out of this terrible relationship. You could have just hung out here with me.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to hear the song where called "I Dodged a Bullet" there. That she might write maybe in 10 years.
So this is the first real single off the album, which everyone should know by now. It's Shake It Off.
We've all heard the song. This is the first song on the album where she had something to say.
Yeah, this seems a little bit more about her as opposed to like writing that could be about anyone.
It also it's the weird thing where this song completely stands out from everything else on the album. It's like the song "Sail" on It's like the song "Sail" from AWOL Nation. The song "Sail" represents in no way the rest of that album. People who buy it based off "Shake It Off" might be expecting a different animal. It's what you hear to get you to buy the album, and then what you get is nothing like that experience. This song should have been released as a single by itself. And then the album should come afterwards as a different thing.
Yeah, you could have got his free song download from Pizza Hut or some shit. I don't know. Do they still do that? Pizza downloads? Is that a thing they still do? You want a pizza download? Get a free piece, get a large piece to get the song by Taylor Swift. Go Shake It Off. Enjoy your cheese crust pizza. Now with extra pepperonis inside and pepperonis outside. And you like Taylor Swift? Alright. Track 7 on the album is I Wish You Would.
This is the sequel to Stay.
Yeah, it's pretty much the sequel to Stay. Like, I Wish You Would Stay. Like, it's also called I Wish You Would. I Wish You Would Stay, or all you have to do is stay, and then I Wish You Would. It's about a guy creepily driving in the middle of the night in front of his ex-girlfriend's house and thinking about, oh man, I don't think she loves me anymore, think blah blah blah, which is usually what you think about being an ex. But in real life, she's like, oh, I still love him, blah 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 blah, I guess. But you never knew that, but I wish you would say some stuff about me getting back together with me, but this is still kind of a creepy idea to begin with. Like, why are you driving in front of this woman's house at 2 o'clock in the morning? It's pretty much the same song as the earlier one. Like, oh yeah, you could have just done this thing and it could have been all right. But, yeah, that's all I got.
Pop music is about heartbreak and love and sex. It's how you mix those things up in the bag that make your album work. I just wish you had more to say, because we're starting to spin our wheels here. We're getting to Bad Blood here in a second. I think you'll understand.
Yeah. All right. So this is Bad Blood.
Mad
Take a
love.
look what you've done. 'Cause baby, now we got bad blood. Hey.
We don't care. We're driving Cadillacs in our dreams. Everyone's got the same drums.
Oh, you can try to take us. Yeah, that's probably closer to that. But even then, it's still way more hollow than anything on Lord's album. All right, so for the people who listen to Taylor Swift albums, I have a real question for you. How many of you say Mad Love? Like, oh yeah, it was Mad Love. No one says this. This sounds like a Common thing. That's something that we would say. We were just talking about Common. This sounds like something that would be like on a Common album. It's like, oh yeah, we had Bad Blood, but it used to be Mad Love. Like, this is not the album we're talking about right now. The whitest woman in the industry right now, like, talk Mad Love. Like, if I come up to Taylor Swift and she says Mad Love in any reasonable conversation, I was like, you're trying too hard.
Like, I'm waiting for a positive song.
It's either breakup memories or possible future bad decisions, pretty much. This is what we're getting here. All right, that's all I get. Yeah.
Wildest.
All right, so track 9. Track 9 is Wildest Dreams. This is like the super Lord song. I think this is number 2 or number. This is probably number 2 is one of my favorite songs. Yeah. Oh my God. Super Lord. Is Taylor Swift Ariel? Right? That's exactly what these songs are. She's the worst judge of character and makes the worst decisions.
Taylor Swift is Ariel from
She's Ariel from Little Mermaid. We just did a review about this. Click this thing down here to watch that video.
The song sounds like it was ripped straight off of a Lord's
that is straight up like a secret track on Pure Heroin that Laura did not want to put on, so she gave it to Taylor Swift.
If I wanted to hear this jam, I could hear it on a Lord album with better lyrics.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. That's basically how that works. All right, this is How You Get the Girl.
That rhymes with rain.
The chorus in the song, I mean, for this one, it's very standard. As you were saying, if you added a little bit more acoustic guitar to it.
This is the most Taylor Swift sounding song that I've heard in the album so far.
Yeah, by far. I'm not gonna lie and say this girl doesn't have talent. She does.
Yeah.
She does.
Yeah.
For a person that has like as much talent as she does, like she really feels like I feel like she's really kind of giving into the ability of other people. I guess, and
I'd rather see her stand out because she does. I mean, already like who she is. I mean, no matter what you want to like. Ooh, she said like a curse word at like at the Grammys or whatever. Taylor Swift is already unlike any other pop diva princess out there. Like she's taller.
Yeah, she's taller.
5'10".
She's a
Yeah,
beast.
she's taller.
No, I think it's hot. No, I'd love to be one of her breakup songs.
Exactly. Yeah, and then we can be like, yeah, that girl is not crazy.
Dude, I'm track number 7 on her new album.
Exactly. This is called This Love. It's not one of my favorites, but it's probably one of the least objectionable songs on the album.
I like it more than a lot of the stuff on the album. Maybe it's because it's...
It feels like she's not pedaling for a particular new audience or anything like that. I feel like it's probably works.
It's like the first kind of positive one that they've had.
That's very true.
In a while. Not that it has to be positive to it to enjoy it. Like, I can listen to Eminem all day long.
This love is real. This love was unlike I ever had. Whoa! But yeah. It feels a little bit more positive. It has a better kind of theme to it.
It feels a little more Taylor Swift.
And I'm pretty sure whenever the new Nicholas Sparks book to movie comes out with standard brown haired dude and standard white blonde girl, this song is gonna be in it
all
somewhere.
over that soundtrack.
Wow.
It'll play throughout the movie.
Yeah.
This love came back to me.
All right, this is called I Know Places. So while we're listening to the song, Steven made a good point, and he's like, paparazzi.
Yeah, that's what I was...
Were you thinking of the song, or are you just thinking of what's it about?
I think what it's about. Like,
yeah, because it's very much, this is very much about what it's about. Yeah, because I was thinking, like, this doesn't sound like Lady Gaga at all, and then I realized what you were talking about. Paparazzi. I know places that they won't find us, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and I can dig this, too, because it's talking about, like a different angle. Like, I don't know if I've actually heard her speak about, how, like the invasion of life, the invasion of privacy, the invasion of trying to have a relationship amongst, people trying to get all up in your grill.
Yeah, it's true. But even so, how many people has she broke up with in the past?
This week?
4. I mean, that's a pretty heavy record. I mean, just to blame completely on paparazzi. The subject matter of the song is pretty cool. Beyond that,
sounds like stuff. This is another one where I was like, if sounds like a Taylor Swift song. And I don't want to feel like I'm trying to bottle it. If you're not doing it this way, you're not Taylor Swift, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you don't want to be like them. Do it the way I remember it. For me.
It's all mine.
Remember when I loved you? Remember?
I know. Remember? Yeah. Motherfuckers never loved us. Remember?
But
wait. Hold my phone. It's a Drake reference. It's a part of the song.
I don't know what you're doing.
All right, so this is the last track on the regular album, and it's called Clean. I
don't know what I'm doing here.
Like a lot of these songs, like listening to her voice, I was like, she sounds like She sounds like a less powerful version of like Miley Cyrus in some of these songs too. For this particular song, it is much more closer to the kind of country end. But there's a lot of weird mixed metaphors in this song that kind of overlap on each other, which really make the song a little bit more confusing. Because when I was listening to it before, it seems like she's talking about this relationship that's over again. Relationship is over again, but she's referring to it more like almost like clearing yourself of like an addiction. Even though you've been sober for X amount of time, it still doesn't. It doesn't mean that you still don't want it. Is basically what she's saying. I was like, all right, like lyrically, like this sounds great. Like this is still a good. Lyrically, this is a pretty good, a decent song.
That there's more going on inside than nothing at all.
Yeah, that's very true. So I mean, in the writing phase, this is one of my favorites. As a song wise, it's not. It's one of those like I'm okay with it.
I mean, even the most blah songs on this album are better than I suppose a lot of things that get released.
Now we're on to the deluxe edition of the album, which you can only buy at Target stores here. We did not buy this from Target, but this is a Target bag to make you the emphasis about buying it. Deluxe edition at Target. Target did not hook us up, by the way, with this bag or anything else. I thought they may say something about getting us some stuff from the dollar rack, but they did not hook us up. But this is where, legitimately, if you're going to buy the album, this is where you buy the deluxe edition. There's 3 extra tracks on the deluxe edition, as well as some talking parts. So these are the 3 real tracks that are extra. So we're going to talk about the next one, which is called Wonderland.
Those A's. This song's kind of dumb, but I like it. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't, well, I mean, Once Upon a Time in the Wonderland arc is probably gone by now, but so they can't put it in Once Upon a Time, but they'll try.
Hey, no, but they are making a sequel to Alice in Wonderland. It's coming out in a couple of years, the Tim Burton one. So I'm sure this song will be at the end.
Next special track is "You Are in Love." I feel like this one is like also could be in a movie kind of thing at the end, that drop after the climax kind of deal, where that person's kind of coming to terms with something or really understanding like what their relationship means to some blah blah blah. Because like that whole concept of like, even though you're not with that person, they're still a part of you all the time. Like you're still thinking about it all the time. Like you can feel it on the way home. Like you're driving your car. Like you don't get away from it.
Maybe this song should have been on the album in place of like 2 other songs.
Yeah, there's a couple other songs. Welcome to New York, the single that we fucking hate, should not have been on there, and they should have added this thing right there. Last special real track on Deluxe Edition is called New Romantics. The song is called New Romantics. Lordy.
So Lord. Do you even Lord?
We're all bored. We're all so tired of everything.
Oh, it's so lazy.
It is.
It's like the most, like, all right, of all the ones, like, the other ones are, like, well-produced Lord. This is, like, really lazy Lord thefted song. Even the style of writing is, like, this is not our kind of thing. We're all bored. Like, it's the kind of thing that, like...
Trains that just aren't coming. We show off our different scarlet letters.
Lord is how much younger than Taylor Swift?
Lord is what, 16? 17 now, yeah. 17 now?
Lord has a more mature concept.
And Taylor Swift is 25?
Yeah.
Oh. It's like bird bones, man. Like, there's nothing inside. Like, poof, like, I'm blowing you out into the wind here. You have a lot of time and a lot of experience writing songs. If you're going to really try to make a song that sounds very similar to somebody else's song, at least do the thing that you're really good at. Write it so it's like, it makes it a good song.
Yeah, pop music doesn't have to be dumb. It doesn't have to be, like, you are allowed. You can make it catchy with some easy rhymes and still...
Every single from the 2020 Experience... at least from the first section anyway,
yeah,
is a good song. All those songs are pop songs.
and they're heavy played on the radio. They have music videos on MTV, surprisingly.
No, he's proof. And granted, he waited a lot longer to come up with those albums.
Right.
But it's proof that you are able to. It's like Sam Morelli's like she writes words. The words in Brave. She's a lyricist, and a lot of people, everyone who's making music is not.
Yeah.
Like it's not the same. But we're putting more thought into this, obviously, than she did.
Or probably anybody else that actually bought the album probably did.
But all right, yeah. The last three bonus tracks on the deluxe album are basically 3 tracks. Basically, Taylor Swift talking about I guess she gets questions a lot about how she writes her music, how these 3 tracks were made. Basically, why songwriting is still new and interesting to her because it's always something different. At a time here, we're trying to spin our wheels on this album review. So one last thing that I want to do for every JigglyPop music review, and I want you to secretly write how many songs on this album do you think will make it to radio? All right. Oh, wow. I didn't even really like this album, and I gave it more credit than it's worth, I guess. So 5 out of the regular. This is the non-deluxe stuff. I said 5, which is probably about a third of the album. Pretty much it for our JigglyPop review of 1989. As you can say, you can get it on pretty much any kind of internet media, or go to the stores, get it your deluxe version from Target or possibly iTunes. I'm William Freeman.
My name is Stephen Carroll King.
Thanks for joining us.
Come on, Slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and Slam, and welcome to the jam. Hey, yo, what you gonna do? Hey, yo, what you gonna do? Hey, yo, what you gonna do? Hey, yo, what you gonna do?
Review. People in the house.
Review.
All right.